software has limited support for uploading to SonHub Professional. On the SonHub Amateur side, we have receivers to our Horus binary and when it's mode, which we'll find out more about in the next few presentations. SonHub Amateur also ingests balloon traffic from APRS-IS. So everything with a balloon symbol that ends up in the APRS-IS network will end up on SonHub Amateur. If it's below 2 kilometers, it might not show up by default because a surprisingly large number of cars drive around with the balloon symbol. Don't ask me why, but we do filter those out until they hit 2 kilometers in altitude. If you are driving around and you want to be shown up as a chase car on SonHub Amateur, you can even do that. If you put SHUB in your APRS tracker's path, you will show up as a chase car on SonHub Amateur. There's also sources of data from Whisper making its way into SonHub Amateur as well. So there's a specific uploader by SPOLND, which ingests a lot of WhisperNet data, abstracts telemetry and pushes that into SonHub for display. And there are also other project or flight specific uploaders of people that want to write their own custom uploader. So the SonHub trackers, I'm going to quickly jump across to oh god, hang on, Zoom's getting in the way as usual. Stand by. Here we go. So many of you may have seen the SonHub tracker before, but just as a quick overview, I picked a really poor time to do this because the balloons, the radio sondes from our nearby launch site have just landed, so it's a little bit less interesting. But the SonHub tracker is all about showing meteorological radio sondes. Here's Australia, and here's a whole bunch of radio sonde flights. So by default, their flight path tracks are not shown until you click on them, like that. And we can see the entire flight path track. The little green dots are receiving stations. And on the left, we have telemetry data. And while it's not such a good example at the moment, you also have flight path predictions, which update live throughout the flight. Now, if there was people out there chasing them, there'd be a little chase car on the map. Let's see if I can find one of those. Oh, here's someone. Maybe not.
There's noise.
Oh, there's a chase car. Not sure what he's doing, but that's an example of a chase car on the map. Some of the other key points about the SonHub tracker are the launch sites. So if you want to go out and chase a radio sonde, you can go find your nearest launch site. There's a little grey circle. Click on that. Predictions, and what that will do is go run predictions for the next approximately week of launches, and you can make a decision. Are you going to go chase a balloon on a particular day? The launch site information is user supplied, so if you think you know better than what we have in our database about your local launch site, lend us a hand. Click the contribute here button and give us some better information, some local information about what your local launch site is doing and make the predictions work better for you. So moving on. The SonHub, so other thing that's really worth pointing out with SonHub Professional is the recovery of radio sondes. Now, something that we really recommend to everyone that's going out and hunting a radio sonde, and Andrew will also touch on this as well, is what we're calling radio sonde hunting best practice. And we have 3 key points here. The SonHub tracker has a function called chase mate. In fact, I'll just quickly show you what that is. And that is up on the top right hand corner here, little car icon, hit the button, and suddenly your location shows up on the map. You can run this from your phone. There are also other ways of getting this information onto the tracker as well, such as Chase Mapper, which is another bit of discussed today, but it's quite powerful. And what this does is let other people know that you're out and about. Think of it as stating your intention that you're going to go out and recover a radio sonde. So in this example here in the picture is someone doing it right. There's a balloon launch or with a radio sonde in the air. It's on its way down, there's a little parachute icon, and we can see there is a chase car out there heading towards that landing spot. Once you've recovered the radio sonde, you need to report the recovery as soon as possible. So we've got a number of ways of doing that. On the tracker itself, you can press a button and hit report. But we also have a brand new reporting utility as well at sondhub.org/found. This is fairly new, and you can very easily choose a radio sond type, type in the serial number. I'm going to pick this one, this example here, and you can continue to fill in information and submit the recovery. Very, very easy. You can do it from your phone, you can update the position, and this automatically shows up on the Sondhub tracker. So those that are watching from home, those that might be out chasing themselves, will see it as recovered, and they don't go and waste their time going for a long drive, spending lots of money on fuel to try and recover a balloon that's already been recovered. It's worth pointing out, radio sonds are what I'm going to call first come, first served. If you really want a particular radio sond, be there when it lands. It's a fun hobby, it isn't a competition. Don't expect a radio sond that's landed a day ago to still be there and you turn up. If you want it, be there when it lands. For the Sondhub amateur tracker, looks very, very similar, same interface. This is all about amateur radio balloons. Most of what we see on the Sondhub amateur tracker nowadays are whisper balloons. So here's an EOSS balloon, look at that. Where's that been? All around the world probably. So amateur balloons, we can filter these via modulation type. We can choose from, we can filter from just whisper balloons. Well, I'll clarify here. On the modulation type of those balloons that are turning up by APRSIS won't show up here. We can filter for just Horus binary balloons, filter for just APRS balloons, etc., etc. If you want to filter down to a single balloon, so let's say your own flight, you can put that in the call sign list at the top left-hand corner. So as an example, I'm going to go bring up a flight of my own from last weekend. Now that was actually last weekend, and the default time history, which is this little drop-down box here, is 12 hours. But if I choose 7 days, I'll find my flight. Here we are. Now, both Sondhub Amateur and the Sondhub Professional Tracker have Grafana dashboards, and they're accessible on the left-hand side here. This is the kind of information pane for each payload. Click on Plots, you'll bring up Grafana. Give it a second to load. And this gives you live updating plots of your various payload telemetries all throughout the flight. This is a great thing to have on a screen at a school somewhere. You can change the refresh interval. This is obviously a historical flight, so it's not as interesting, but tomorrow, give it a go during your GPSL launches and just see quite how powerful it can be. From this same interface, you can go and export all your flight telemetry. So down here, you can download a KML file for your flight. You can export the telemetry, the raw data, as JSON or CSV. You can also see who's contributed to your flight's tracking. The pie chart is very popular here in South Australia. Everyone wants to see how many packets they can upload. I keep on telling them this is a competition, but for them it really is. But I always win, because I'm usually the one right next to the balloon. So, yeah, anyway. The people that are receiving can also help improve their own receive systems by looking at the signal-to-noise ratio plots and work out, how did I go during a flight in terms of tracking the signal-to-noise ratio? What can I improve on in the future? Michaela says she hates the pie chart. I love it. So that's the Sondhub Amateur Tracker. We also have the Sondhub Predictor. I might show a live demonstration of this, but as I mentioned before, we run the Tawiri flight path prediction system. So we host this, and this uses the GFS 0.5 degree 3 hour time resolution model, predicted model. We have thought about going to a higher time resolution and spatial resolution model, but it does substantially increase data storage and hence our costs. We have the predict.sondhub.org page where you can go to, which I'm sure many of you use to predict the flight paths of your flights. But of course, we have live predictions at sondhub.org and on amateur.sondhub.org as well. and the long-type predictors that I showed before. The predictors are also available via an API, so if you want to use it in your own application, you're more than for non-commercial use. For commercial use, we ask you help support our operating costs. And again, the predictor is also open source as well. On the point of predictions on amateur.sonthub.org, if you're running your own flight, for example, BK5 ARG, and you want the prediction to actually be meaningful, so you know that your balloon is going to burst at, say, 35 kilometers altitude, you can program that into the predictor. Click on the little balloon icon at the top here. I have to log in as well, sorry, forgot about that. You can make an account, or you can sign in with Google. There's no special account required, but you do have to kind of log in, per se. And now what you can do is enter in your payload's call sign, enter in your expected altitude, so 35 kilometers as an example, your expected descent rate. Ascent rate doesn't really matter that much, and hit submit. And from now on, any flight path prediction on Sonthub Amateur with that call sign will have the correct ascent rate. So this might be important for your flights tomorrow. So it might be something worth thinking about. Another service we provide on Sonthub is the burst calculator. Again, this is based off the Cambridge University Spaceflight Burst Calculator. And this helps you figure out how much gas you should put into your balloon to achieve a certain ascent rate for a certain payload mass. We have data on a wide range of balloon types here, which has been provided or sourced through various sources. Some of it even provided by manufacturers themselves. Kmont were happy and were able to provide us with updated data and some balloons as well, which was really nice of them, so thanks to Kmont. And the same flight path, same burst calculator is also available via the predict.sonthub.org user interface as well, as you're doing your flight path predictions. So this is a really easy way of working out how much gas you need for your balloon flight. It is all in metric, however, so sorry, you'll have to do the conversions yourself. So Sonthub, we ingest a huge amount of data across radiosondes and amateur balloons, and it isn't that cheap to run. It's approximately at the moment about $800 per month to run. But we are majority community funded, and we have to give a massive thanks to our supporters all around the world who help keep Sonthub going. Most of that comes from Patreon. So our Patreon page, patreon.com/Sonthub. Please support us. You can get your little icon on the map changed to a different colour, depending upon how much you support, bronze, silver and gold. We also have some commercial sponsorships. So Raw, the second largest radiosonde manufacturer in the world, helps sponsor Sonthub, and we thank them greatly for their support. And prior to that, we had a number of grants from Amateur Radio Digital Communications. Many of you may know them from Net44, and they supported Sonthub's operating costs for many years. And again, we'd like to thank them massively for getting us through our kind of teething phase, if you will. So yeah, if you enjoy Sonthub and the services that it provides, please consider helping support us by joining our Patreon. So that's pretty much all from me. I'm not sure we'll be taking questions unless you want to do that or not. Otherwise, we'll move on.